Hello, my friends. Sit back and let Coco and I tell you a story. In the summer of 1934, Swiss naturalist Balkin van Alversben was on an expedition in the remote regions of the Swiss Alps. He was documenting the flora and the fauna for a comprehensive study of the region's biodiversity. Accompanied by his assistant Carl, he aimed to explore areas that were seldom traversed by the humans. On a clear July morning, the two men set out from their camp at the base of the mountain, hiking towards a high-altitude plateau rumored to be the home of rare alpine plants. The air she was crisp and the path ahead was steep and rugged. As they climbed and climbed, they took meticulous notes and photographs of the various plant species they encountered. By midday, they reached the plateau, a serene and isolated expanse of rocky outcrops and various wildflowers. They decided to have the rest and the lunch, and the two food groups, I am sure, meat and the bacon. Delicious. They set out their feast up near a small, clear stream that meandered through the area. While Van Alvensben sketched a particularly interesting flower, Carl wandered off to explore the surroundings. Suddenly, Carl called out in alarm. Van Alvensben looked up to see his assistant pointing towards a cluster of boulders some distance away. He hurried over. He saw what had startled Carl, a strange creature, particularly hidden among the rocks. It was about 3 feet long, with a serpentine body covered in the smooth grayish scales. Its head, however, was distinctly feline, with sharp, piercing eyes that gleamed with an almost intelligent awareness.
No.
Coco says no. That awareness, the one most of us identify with me, a self that seems to reside in the body, behind our eyes, watching the world. Coco says, what if that sense of being a self is just another perception, a mental construct, appearing that awareness might not even be confined to your body or brain? Oh my goodness. Some philosophies and quantum theories suggest awareness could be non-local, meaning it's not situated in any specific place. Your experience of being you might just be one localized manifestation of a universal awareness, like one wave in a vast ocean of consciousness. There is no separation between your awareness and the awareness in others. It's all part of the same flow. Now, Coco, you're telling me that instead of you being aware, awareness is just happening? And your sense of identity is a byproduct, like a character in one of those movies? You aren't the one having the experience. You are the experience. The thoughts, emotions, and sensations that make up what you call you are just contents in this vast, formless field of awareness. There is no thinker of thoughts, only thinking. No feeler of emotions, just feeling. The observer you feel so sure of could be more of an illusion, a phantom? By the gods, that sounds made up, Coco. You consume way too many mushrooms, my friend. But I digress. Van Alvespen noticed the creature, the entity, seemed to be watching them as intently as they were watching it. Now, Van Alvensben, ever the scientist, carefully approached the creature, trying to get a better look. As he did, the Tatzelwurm hissed and retreated further into the rocks, displaying a pair of small... Get your mind out of the gutter. It had a pair of small clawed forelimbs, not unlike the T-Rex or my mother-in-law when it is time for her to pay the bill. Despite the creature's defensive behavior, Van Alvensben managed to observe it for several minutes before it finally disappeared into a crevice. shaken but exhilarated by the encounter, Van Elvespen and Carl returned to their camp where they immediately documented the sighting. Van Elvespen sketched the creature from memory and noted its unique characteristics. He was convinced that they encountered the legendary Tatzelwurm, a creature long dismissed as myth by most scientists. Over the following weeks, Van Elvespen shared his findings with his colleagues and local authorities. While some dismissed his account as misidentification or exaggeration, or possibly that he had been smoking way too much weed, others were intrigued by the detailed description of the credibility of Van Elvespen as a naturalist. The sighting sparked a renewed interest in the legend of the Tatzelwurm, leading to further expeditions and investigations in the beautiful Swiss Alps.
No.
Coco says no, that some of this account are true and the rest is fabric. I cannot say this word. It is the bullshit.
A bullshit? A bullshit?
Ah, yes. According to the story, Van Elvespen was on a hunting trip, not a hippity-dippity flower observation, when he came across a strange creature that fitted the description of the Tatzelwurm. The creature was said to be about 5 feet long with a thick serpent-like body and a front part resembling a cat or lizard. It had the short legs, but its movement was very swift and powerful. The Baron allegedly shot at the creature, believing it to be some kind of unusual lizard. Oh, that is terrible form. You cannot just shoot at something because it is strange.
No.
That is right, Coco. If I shot at everything that looks strange, my ex-mother-in-law would look like a Swiss cheese by now. But I digress. After this maniac shoot, the Tatzelwurm escaped, disappearing into the underbrush or a rocky crevasse, leaving Van Elvespen stunned by the encounter. Despite firing at it, there was no evidence that the creature was killed, and no remains were ever found. Now, the Baron's account was taken seriously by some due to his status and reputation. However trigger-happy he was a respected figure. His story got significant attention, contributing to the Tatzelwurm's lore in the early 20th century. His encounter was published in the newspapers, which are mostly bullshit now, and became a widely discussed topic among cryptozoologists and folklorists at the time. Now you may ask, Maddog, what the heck is a Tatzelwurm? And I will tell you, the Tatzelwurm is a cryptid from Alpine folklore, particularly in the Switzerland, Austria, and Bavaria. Descriptions of the creature vary, but it is often depicted as a part reptile, part mammal creature with a cat-like face and a serpentine body. Its name comes from the German words Tatzel, meaning paw, and worm, meaning worm. This is reflecting its hybrid nature. Now, there have been numerous reported sightings of the Tatzelwurm. That name is difficult for Maddog to say.
No.
No, Coco, we are not going to call it the pussy lizard. Anyway, in 1799, one of the earliest accounts from a Swiss naturalist who described seeing a strange creature resembling a stump-legged lizard near the Swiss Alps. He reported it had a head similar to that of a cat and was around 5 feet long. While no physical evidence was found, the naturalist's account helped spark interest in the creature. Then in 1828, 2 farmers from Malenfield, Switzerland, claimed to have encountered a Tatzelwurm while working in the fields. They described the creature as about 3 to 6 feet long, with a snake-like body, but the face of a cat. So, pussycat. Oh, God. According to the men, the creature moved quickly, surprising them, and vanished off, as if by magic, into the underbrush. The sighting was one of the more detailed accounts that contributed to the legend spread. Then, in 1914, in one of the most dramatic sightings, a man named Hans Fuchs.
No.
Oh, Coco is right. The man's name is Hans Fuchs. He claimed to have seen two Tatzelwurms while walking in the Australian Alps near Styria. Styria. Man, I cannot say that word. According to Fuchs, the creature were about 4 feet long, cat-like heads, and large lizard-like bodies. The sighting frightened Fuchs so much that he reportedly suffered a heart attack shortly after returning home, and he died. His family passed down his description, and the story was widely reported in the region. That is terrible that it scarred him to death. In the 1930s, a photograph taken by a man named Balkin in Bavaria during the 1930s is one of the few alleged photographic pieces of evidence for the existence of the Tatzelwurm.
No.
Coco, I am not calling it a lizard pussy. No. The photograph taken by Balkin in Bavaria during the 1930s. The photo purportedly shows a large worm-like creature, but the image was blurry and unclear, fueling skepticism. Despite its questionable quality, the photo remains a point of intrigue for all cryptozoologists. Then in 1954, a man hiking near Arosa, Switzerland, claimed to have encountered a Tatzelwurm near a rocky cave. He described the creature as around 2 feet long, with a cat-like face and a serpent-like body. According to the account, the creature hissed at the man and then quickly disappeared into the rocks. The sighting is significant because it adds to the Tatzelwurm's association with the hidden mountain caves. Then in the 1969, in an unusual twist, there was a reported sighting of a similar creature in the Trentino region of Italy, not far from the Swiss and Austrian borders. A group of hikers claimed to have seen a creature that matched the Tatzelwurm's description. Although it was much smaller, only a foot long, maybe it was the baby. This sighting led some to speculate that the Tatzelwurm might belong to a species of unknown Alpine reptiles. And then one of the more recent sightings was by a Swiss hiker in 2009. The man claimed to have seen a creature with a cat-like face and a snake-like slithering through the grass while hiking at a very high altitude, which makes me think maybe it is the mountain sickness that's making them crazy. But I digress. He was unable to capture a photo, but his detailed description matched many older reports, keeping the legend alive. Despite the various sightings and encounters, no concrete evidence, such as remains or clear photographs, have ever been produced. But that doesn't mean shit. And this leaves the Tatzelwurm firmly in the realm of folklore. However, the consistency in descriptions over centuries continues to fascinate enthusiasts. Let's go! Now I will tell you about the Tatzelwurm that Coco and I encountered in our world. We were upon the island of the Moors, a very dangerous island indeed, my friends, for upon it are giants whose heads surpass the clouds, equaling the mountain ranges in height. We were upon one such mountain known as the Sage, when we stumbled upon a gold mine where a group of gnomes were in the middle of a rapid retreat. They ran past us screaming like the banshees about the beast. We approached this mine entrance, and then this draconic creature's serpentine tail whips back and forth as the beast rushes forward on 2 short taloned legs. And despite its scaly skin, its head resembles a cat's, a nice booty cat. And its forked tongue darts from a fanged mouth, leaking acrid vapors. It came right for us, and then to our surprise, asked if we were the light.
No.
Coco says no, that it asked if we could give it a light, so it could smoke its pipe. Interesting. Indeed, because normally in our world, though lesser dragons, Tatzelwurms are nonetheless vicious, dangerous predators. Most inhabit forested hills and mountains, lairing in natural caves, hollow trees, or deadfalls. Some Tatzelwurms lair in abandoned mines, and in some cases even chase miners out of a preferred site, much like this one did to get their special gnome tobacco. Those little stoners. Some of these tasselworms set out the bait. They use the bait to lure prey into an ambush, setting out piles of fruit, grains, carrion, and even treasures to attract food into their clutches. They pounce from the hiding, coiling their snake-like bodies and releasing it like a spring, allowing for jumps that rival those of the great cats. Others prefer to drop from trees onto the prey. That is terrible. They also love to whistle and hiss. The tasselworm is known for its horrible streaks, low whistles and hisses, much like the Yoko Ono. Only these noises can distract or frighten foes. Mounted riders find their mounts may be scared off or may rear on hearing the tasselworm's terrible hiss. These sounds are also used as a warning to rivals and in mating season to attract mates.
No.
That is right. Coco says avoid those areas in the spring. Oh, by the gods, you will get an ear and eyeful. Well, after we lit the beast's pipe, we set up the camp for the night and had joined us for the dinner, which of course was of the two food groups, the meat and the bacon. We passed the pipe and the flask amongst ourselves, and we could see the sneaky little gnomes had come back and were watching from a distance. I asked the tassel, oh, by the gods, this name is difficult.
No.
I am not calling them that, Coco. Well, our friend told us his name was something I cannot pronounce. So we called him the Kitty Dragon. We asked why this cave other than the tobacco he procured for the gnomes. He said treasure, the true treasure, I guard, is not golds or jewels, but knowledge and harmony with nature. He then said many seek material wealth, but true wisdom lies in understanding the world around us. Him and Coco, they have a lot in common. For what felt like hours, the Tatzelwurm shared its ancient knowledge with us. It spoke of the delicate balance of the ecosystem, the interconnectedness of all living things, and the importance of preserving the natural world. We listened intently, absorbing the wisdom imparted by the guardian of this great mountain. As the dawn broke, the Tatzelwurm's form began to fade, merging with the light of the rising sun. And then he cried out, "Remember, Maddog and Coco. The greatest treasure is within you. Protect this land and its secrets, and you shall prosper." Now Coco and I laughed so hard because as the Tatzelwurm slept, we had drawn phallic symbols upon its head. You must always keep your sense of humor and wonder, my friends. So until next time, as our friendly explorer would say, we will see you soon with more monstery goodness. Until then, stay frosty and aware, beautiful people. Thank you. Thank you very much.